Hi, I'm Tara Mahadevan. I grew up in St. Louis and basically lived in the same house my entire life except for college. I went to Ladue, which is actually just down the street, and for college I went to NYU and then School of the Art Institute of Chicago for writing. My mom was born in India, in Bombay, and my dad was born in India but grew up in Sri Lanka. I don't think I really understood that I was Indian because I was just a kid. It didn't really matter. I still went to India and wore all the traditional clothing and stuff, but, and I went to temple, and, I even took, I'm pretty sure I took Tamil, which is my native tongue. I took language classes when I was little at the library, actually, down the street. But, it never really sinked in that I was different, which really is why I think later on it was so hard for me to understand that I was both Indian and American. And for a long time my writing really centered on the idea that about having like an internal struggle between the two, because while my family's very Indian, they growing up they constantly told me I was American, which is kind of has bad like negative connotations. I guess it's stereotypical that Indians want to be doctors, engineers, businessmen. And for the longest time I did want to be a doctor, but in high school I was the editor-in-chief of our literary arts magazine, and I really loved it, and my friend talked me into applying to NYU for English with a creative writing minor, and I did that, and I really wanted to go, and I was just like, told my mom that I didn't want to go to medical school anymore, which was actually a really big deal. We're at the Hindu temple of St. Louis. Well, I don't know how long the temple's actually been here, but I remember always coming here when I was little, and always, doing something here. I think they have like a healthcare fundraiser drive sort of thing every May, and so I used to help with that, and then they had the youth group here, and we would meet every week. We would do things like, learn about meditation, and we would volunteer at a soup kitchen and take, go on outings and stuff like that. I struggled for a really long time between being American and Indian, but then when I came to terms with it, that, I was different, I think I embraced that because I could never imagine myself any other way. So I don't think I ever felt there was a point to think of myself, like to ever think, of being white or black. Because I think a lot of the Indians who live here are a lot younger than me, because even all my family friends, all of the kids are mostly younger than me, except for a couple. So it was really hard to even be able to relate to anybody about that. I didn't really, I was a teenager, I didn't talk to my family about that stuff, but, you confide in friends, and it wasn't really easy, because nobody really understood. I wasn't perceived as white, I wasn't perceived as American, and often I'm not even perceived as Indian because my family's South Indian, and I'm so light-skinned that people often think I'm Mexican or Spanish, or one time I got Colombian, Hawaiian, Afghani, Lebanese, I don't know, a whole slew of things besides Indian, so. I feel like a lot of our culture is like appropriated by American culture, like turbans and, they're called bindis, but there's like body jewels, I guess is what they've come to be called here, and I just hope that like people want to know where these things come from rather than just, wearing them without knowing like the history or their derivation or anything. I think a lot of it's misappropriated and misunderstood. So, no, I try to write about it, but I feel like not that many Indians speak out about, misappropriation or anything, so it's kind of difficult. Just for instance, like the Sikh temple shooting over the summer was, I think the shooter thought that the Sikhs were Muslims, which is, because they're wearing turbans, which is totally a complete misunderstanding, because they're definitely no relation, but, just things like that. I think, like, people didn't give that enough attention. Sure. I feel like everything's kind of, it's like a transient period where, you don't really know what you're doing, and it's kind of more difficult since I work for myself and I don't have like a job in a company, which isn't making me stay. So, I mean, I could probably move somewhere else and do everything I do, except maybe right for the riverfront times. But, you know, I mean, I grew up here. It's really easy living, and I know everything is. And I'd say the only hard part is meeting new people, because St. Louis isn't really a transplant city. It's a place where people who lived here for years continue to live here and know everybody, and so I came back mostly because I didn't have a place to live, but it turned out to be a good thing because I've been really involved in St. Louis, goings on the music scene, and writing for Riverfront Times, and I also work for myself, so it's pretty nice. And when people don't understand what you're going through, it's easier just to write about it. I mean, I still do a lot of blogging for myself on that topic of, I think many Indians don't view themselves as a person of color, but I do, and that's something I write about a lot. And I don't know, I think it's really helped me to just, you know, um, either creatively and analytically talk about being Indian and, what it means in a predominantly white and black country.